Do you have trouble communicating clearly? Are you drowning in clutter? If so, you are in the right place. At Clarity Corner with Christiana, we peel back the layers that are clouding your ability to see and show you ways you can reclaim your life and your communication. It's not what you know, it's what you implement that makes all the difference. Welcome to Clarity Corner with Christiana. So excited to have you here with us today. And today is one of my favorite topics, which is your environment, right? Our environments, every aspect of us in our lives is affected by our environment and that reflects every aspect of us. So you can walk into somebody's space and you can know their mental state. Is it clean and organized, or is it cluttered and there's stuff in every corner? Have you ever walked into a house and all of a sudden you're like, wow, it feels so good. Oh my God, I feel like I could get a ton of stuff done. Or you walk in a house and you're like, oh my God, it's claustrophobic. There's so much stuff. And it feels overwhelming. Had you had that experience, Bobby?
Very many times. That and offices too.
Offices too. You know
Yep.
what? I noticed this actually when I went down to, where was I? I was in Costa Rica, and I flew back through Panama when I lived in California, and they put me on first class all the way back. Talk about an environment. Oh my goodness. When I was sitting in first class, it was like calm, there was space. I was so productive. I worked almost the entire way back, which is generally not what I do on a plane. Usually I watch movies or sleep. But the environment was so great. I felt like, oh, I'm so productive. Like, this is amazing. I'm going to take the opportunity, because the environment held that energy for me where I wanted to complete. I wanted to get things done so I could have more first class experiences.
And that could even be just so simple as not having someone in the seat next to you, even if you are in economy. I've noticed that.
Exactly.
I don't want to take out the iPad whenever someone's sitting there or whatever.
Exactly. Or you get the person next to you and now you don't even have your arms on the armrest, right? And
Right.
so now you
Yeah.
have no space.
Right.
So this is why our environments are really important. Now, there's 9 different environments, but I'm only going to cover 2 today. The first one these are the 2 we're going to talk about. First is your physical environment, right? This includes tangible aspects of our lives. That would be like our home, office, our car, furnishings, maybe the art we have on the walls, toys, boats, whatever your thing is, right? My husband, that'd be cue sticks. He's all about billiards, right? So he has lots of cue sticks, or any accessories. But the physical environment provides visual clues to what's going on in our lives. And I'll let you know completely transparently, my mother-in-law passed. And so, thank you. And we have been clearing out her space. Well, as we're clearing out her space and putting all of our attention on her, kind of like I've talked about before, when you focus on cleaning up the past, you put your life on hold. And when you come back to it, now you're underwater again in a different way. You got that handled, but now everything else is accumulated while you've been focusing on that. And that's what we're experiencing at our house. So this is such an incredibly important topic today, because this is what I'm focusing on this week and the rest of this month, the next 2 weeks. So what I want you to think about is, what environment feels really uncomfortable for you? Maybe you have too much clutter. So one of my favorite environments could be your car, right? We're going to talk about that. So those are the physical environments. There's also another environment, which is technology, right? This includes electronics, any virtual spaces, software, hardware. It also includes computers, tablets, phones, anything like that, GPS systems, any virtual spaces, or social networking. So I just want you to think. So those are 2 ones that we're going to just have you think about today. So I wanted to talk about, so first let's get an understanding on why environment is so important. Environment and willpower are 2 very interrelated concepts. Buckminster Fuller said, your environment is stronger than your willpower. So if you think of it, your environment is like running a marathon. It's something that's going to sustain you over a long duration. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, good. Then you have your willpower, that's like a sprint. Like you can go really hard for 30, 60, 90 days, even say a season like in sports, right? They have seasons, but they always have an off season, right? So the willpower gets you through, but it's not sustainable like your environment is over the long duration.
I can already see where social media fits this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How so?
Um, because it is come back to on that.
Okay.
I have still forming the thought on
Okay,
that.
perfect. So we have willpower in your environment. So what everybody sets a goal and they're using willpower to get it done.
Yes, willpower, the ability to put the phone down to improve your environment. At
Exactly.
least in my case.
Or willpower, focus on getting your posts up every week, right? You have to do
Mhm.
how many times have we
Okay, yeah, I didn't
heard
think about that.
post regularly,
Yes.
consistently? That is initially willpower, but it's do you have the environment to support a long duration? Or do you do it for a while and then you don't do it at all? And then you do it for a while and you don't do it at all, which, by the way, completely transparently, is me when it comes to social media. I'm very much a in-person relater. So sometimes when I'm on social media, it feels so voyeuristic that I have challenge with that. But that's something, again, I haven't set or put time into creating an environment that's supportive in me maintaining that. So I want you to think about what are your environments. Um, so again, we have willpower and environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to help you set up your environment or clean your environment. So when your willpower fades, your environment will support you having being set up. So that way it's already set up for success. It's kind of like you're going to go on a diet, but you have chips, you have all the bad food in your cupboard, and you have ice cream and dessert in the freezer, and you're going to go on a diet and you're doing great and your willpower is great. But as soon as you get super busy and you need something super fast and quick, you're going to grab the easiest thing to get your hands on. So while it's great, right? You can have all that in your cupboard and in your freezer. However, when your willpower fades, odds are it's the easiest thing to put in your mouth.
Yes, I would say it's 50-50, 50 willpower, 50 environment.
Exactly. Given or applying what I'm talking about today is if you want to go on a diet, what we're going to do is strip all of the things out of your cupboard or out of your pantry that you don't want to be eating and get them out of the house. So when your willpower fades, you actually have to make a decision to get in the car, go down the street. So you have all that time to correct the decision. Does that make sense?
Yes. So
Perfect.
say I gotta put clothes on to go to the ice cream shop. I have to, get in
Exactly.
the car, all that things, and then that's what usually changes your mind.
Correct, because you have to talk yourself through how you're going to cheat the whole time versus it's just in the freezer and it's easy and you have a spoon. Well, I'll just take a spoonful now and then maybe one in an hour or in 20 minutes. And then before you know it, the pint is gone and you're no longer on your diet.
This is true. This is a sad, unfortunate scenario that's played out many times.
Me too, right? But again, it's like that's why it's really important to understand willpower and environment. So, what we're going to focus on today is what's one thing you can pick, whether it's your physical environment or your technology environment, that you can set up to support you if your willpower fades. So, we're not going to take on everything. We're just going to say, what's one thing that you can do? And what we're going to do is I have a really exciting one that we're going to start with. And this I learned from, I was working with a gentleman who he was in my top 5 wealthiest clients. And he was one of these guys that comes from old money. And he shared this concept with me. And it was so simple. Like you probably heard this before, but if you don't understand why, the reasoning behind it, it's like we all know we should eat well, diet, exercise, right? But do we all do it? No. When you have the understanding on what the consequences are and what that means when you're 90, like if I say, okay, we're going to eat well, exercise, and and I don't know, we're going to eat right and exercise. That means we don't have to go into a nursing home when we're older. Now, every time you go to think about, okay, well, I'm going to be bad. I'm going to eat all these bad things and I'm going to have high cholesterol and now I'm going to have diabetes. Well, the odds of you being in a nursing home or having your body deteriorate so you can't be independent is going to be much higher. So if you have that awareness, all of a sudden you're going to think twice about putting that thing in your mouth.
My grandfather tried that on me too a lot.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Well, when we're young, we're invincible, right? Like,
yes, because so far I can't say that it's worked well.
well, as you get older and you start seeing it, like I've seen people who have health issues, but they don't take advantage of them when they're still correctable through diet because they don't understand the consequences or they think, oh, it's not me. And then now they have a bigger problem on the other side. But the reason that happened is they did not set their environment up for success. They didn't remove all the stuff that was putting them down the wrong path. So let's talk about the clean car effect. I'm super excited about this, but what I'm going to do, we're about to go to break. So stay tuned. Make sure if you have any questions, you can call in by calling 727-441-3000. Again, that's 727-441-3000. We can help you pick your process that you're going to start with, your environment you're going to start with, or you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/the Clarity Strategist, the Clarity Strategist. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Want more out of your doctor's visit than a quick conversation with a doc with limited time? Dr. Jaggers-Keene is the one-stop doc who treats you like family. From broken bones to slips and falls, he has you covered along with annual exams. This physician provides VIP concierge treatment at no extra cost. Dr. Keene offers comfort in a setting that provides answers. His new Largo family practice is accepting new patients. Fluent in Spanish, he offers telemedicine too. Go to mychoicehealthcare.org or call 727-732-3969 for your appointment today.
Are you hoping to grow your business but not sure how? Has your business flattened out? It may be your messaging. This is Maureen Famiano with MEF Media. I've been in the TV broadcasting business for more than 30 years, and I enjoy helping businesses and entrepreneurs go to the next level. It's about strategy and branding, finding the right story to tell, and then getting media exposure. I'm here to help you grow your business. Find me on Facebook or my website at MEF Media, and let's launch your next chapter today.
A few years ago, my skin was a mess. It was dry, lifeless, and aging fast. My busy travel schedule teaching yoga across the world was really catching up on me. I tried everything I could find, and it just got worse. So I created my own product based on 100% natural ingredients, and what a difference. Now my skin is glowing and radiant, and I look and feel 10 years younger. The serum I used is called F3. It's our best seller, and I've created a whole range of products to suit all skin types. So if you want actual results using 100% natural skincare, visit formulaflawless.com.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome back to Clarity Corner. So we were just about to talk about the clean car effect. We're talking about setting your environment up to support you when your willpower fades and all the ways it's gone wrong when you think, oh, I'm going to set a resolution and then you don't put the right structure in place to hold you to it. Then all of a sudden you can go back to your old behaviors, your patterns, because your environment will always win out in the end. So we're going to talk about the clean car effect. Now, I learned this from one of my very wealthy clients back in the day when I was organizing people's homes. And he explained that he always keeps his cars immaculate. Now, this doesn't mean you need to go out and get a Porsche or a Mercedes or anything like that. It's just value what you have. So this is taking your car, going over, it's never been easier. For like the price of one wash, you can get a month of car washes once a week over at like those drive-through places. They're everywhere locally now. And what you do is you just make it a practice that once a week, it's like the same time you go and you clean your car out. So it's spotless and immaculate. And then what you're going to do is you keep it that way. So it's almost like it's the closest to showroom floor, like when you get in, because just like when I was sitting in first class, right? The environment is so set up where when something is cared for and something is clean, it doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be whatever it is, but make value and just keep clean what you have, right? If you value what you have and you take good care of it, it's going to last longer. But when you get in it, it's going to keep you in a better mindset. You don't leave trash in there. Think about it. If you want to generate more revenue or you want to get better results in your life and you leave trash everywhere you go and you leave clutter everywhere you go, do you think the odds are high that you are going to attract what you're looking for?
No.
No, exactly.
But another thing I've noticed about it too is it almost it amplifies the mood that you're in. So if you're already not in a great mood and you see a coffee spill somewhere or a piece of trash or something like that, the all of a sudden this feeling of, well, gosh, I should have taken care of that, or or just something about that amplifies that feeling.
Incredibly good point. Yes, exactly. Think of it like a magnifying glass. So whatever you do. So if you get in this clean car every time and it's stocked the exact way that you need it, and you know that everything you have, that your charger cable's in there, that everything is exactly where you need it, it's in great condition, you can find everything, there's no clutter, it's very clean. All of a sudden, it puts you in a different mental state where you're starting to take care of your business. You're starting to take care. And what's great about the clean car effect is that people notice when you show up. You don't have to have a super fancy car, but it's how you keep it says volumes about you. Just like I said early on, every aspect of us is affected by our environment, but our environment reflects every aspect of us. So people can size you up based on how you care for things in your environment. So practicing this clean car effect is a very simple, compartmentalized way, right? The car is not like the garage that could be huge. It's a manageable, it's a manageable unit. And I've started with hoarders on their car, and they've started to get results because they can win at something.
And it's a very simple. It's a lot of simple things that have a big impact. Like somebody needs a flashlight, and and I know it's right in my console, right where I leave it. It's not only makes them feel better, it makes me feel better. It's like, look here, cool. I got this snazzy flashlight right here, ready to go. Or with a lot of things. I mean, business cards with, you
Mhm.
know, yes, pens and pencils and things like that. You're sitting in a drive-through and you need to write something down on the receipt and you don't have it, there goes your mood. Where when you have a black and blue pen and Sharpie and everything you need, it it makes you feel more accomplished.
And this speaks very highly to your personality that likes to plan.
Oh, that's true.
Right? So it's great, right? Because you're thinking, oh, well, what are the supplies that I need in my car? Think about, we're in Florida. You need an umbrella. You need maybe a raincoat. And that's something you could have in your trunk in a very organized container. Like I have a Tupperware that I keep in the back of my car where I have like some specific things in it. So that way it's compartmentalized so it's not going to spread over. But I'll tell you, when my life starts getting crazy, my car is the first thing to show that things are breaking down. So it's a great way to spot yourself and train yourself. Now, if you don't have this issue, that's amazing. But there are people that are successful, they will notice. And all of a sudden, it's going to start being reflected. Like you said, it amplifies your mood. So every time you get in your car and you feel great, now you're going to want to start cleaning up another spot. And what happens is it becomes almost like the next good feeling. So it becomes like the thing you're addicted to, like, oh, wow, that feels so good. I want to do one more. But it gives you small wins to have bigger and bigger successes.
Agreed.
Exactly. So I love this is again, the clean car effect is so powerful. Don't underestimate its simplicity. It really is. I challenge you. Bobby, is your car spotless?
As for a wash, not so much because of pollen season. But as for things being where they need to be, no trash, floor mats, and corners meeting and everything like that, I would say yes. I mean, to an extent that I'm happy with.
Perfect. Well, and again, do you have a practice of every week just resetting it, going, okay, like on Mondays, I'm going to be like, okay, let me wash my car. Let me make sure I have all the supplies I need for the week in there. Because, like you said, if you don't have that stocked up, now that's going to trigger, if you don't have a pen to write down a note, that's going to trigger disorder or disorganization in other areas of your life, because now you're not going to be able to record it in the moment. That's going to trickle into your office, or that's going to trickle into other areas of your life. So it's really important to have that practice. So I invite you to do that. Now, if you have a clean car and you already have this handled, that's amazing. I want you to think about another environment that you have. Do you have your office? Now, your office may be too big of a chunk. Maybe it's like your desk, or maybe it's your filing cabinet, or maybe, you pick one section of your office. Because I've walked into some offices and you can't see the floor, and nobody can say to me at this point in my career, I'm the worst person you've seen, because I've been people just starting out and all the way to billionaire. So when you have billionaire and you add zeros, it just adds the amplification of the problem. So the more zeros you have, just think of it like times 10, like a 10x of your problem. It just puts a big old magnifying glass on it. Like I had one billionaire that bought everything in lots of 12, because she figured, well, if I have 12 of them, at least I'll find one. And then she had a storage unit, a 10,000 square foot storage. Her husband bought a storage facility, and she had one room that was a 10,000 square foot room of what wouldn't fit in the house. So I went in and I organized with 4 people in 8 days. We went through and categorized and organized every single thing in that space. But again, when you think you can't find something, you'll keep buying it over and over and over. So that way you have it when you're looking at it. Like one thing that my mother-in-law had was like 4 blood pressure machines that I found, right? So it's things that you're going to buy over and over because you need them. But if you don't have a spot for them, all of a sudden things are going to break down. So I want you to think, what's another area? If the clean car effect is something you've already mastered, is it your office? Is it your home? Is there one space in your home? Or could it be maybe your digital, your technology? Maybe it's your inbox. Maybe it's your photos online. That could be something, because God knows we all have more photos than we know what to do with on our platforms. And you're now paying for storage for all that stuff, right? For me, my Dropbox, I have stuff from Dropbox from 10 years ago, and I'm paying on storage for Dropbox, which is ridiculous. But it's taking the time to go in there, block out time to reduce it, because there's no reason I need to be spending that much on that kind of storage, especially for something I'm not using. And now it's just digital. Do you have anything like that, Bobby?
Storage is definitely like that. I have actually made great strides to clean out, because because of all the different lines of work I've done. I wind up with Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, all these different things. So I have to to manage them all. It's a task, because one might be easier to clean out than others. One you might not, might be easier in the sense that you don't feel compelled to keep certain things in there. Like I
Right.
have, my personal Google Drive and things like that. I'm always like, oh no, can't get rid of that, can't get rid of that, can't get rid of that. Where a lot of OneDrive and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I know why I typed that just for that day. Trash, trash, trash. So
Yeah.
I see how that can pile up.
So if you're picking something like that, again, come back to the tool. My favorite tool in the universe is 10-minute magic. 10-minute magic. You set a timer for 10 minutes and you just tackle it, right? You remove all the distractions, you set the timer, and you say, okay, for 10 minutes, I'm just going to deal with this one thing. And I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm going to race against myself to see how much can I get done in 10 minutes. And then you do that every single day, 5 days a week. And then you just keep chipping away at it. And now the brain, the little voice in your head that's beating you up, you haven't done that. Look at that. That's just one example of where you're not completing, right? A business mind is filled with information, with ideas and ideas, concepts, plans. Oh my God. There's so much, and it's a beauty. I love business minds, right? People, they're so dynamic and they're so wonderful, but they're cluttered. And what happens is when it's that cluttered, it becomes overwhelmed. So by cleaning up one environment at a time, you're going to start reclaiming your mental space back. But again, it took you a long time to get there. So don't expect it's going to be done in one day, because the most important thing is if we do it systematically, we pick one thing at a time, you're developing the muscle of maintaining it as you go. So you're going to get out of that ebb and flow of, oh my God, put your life on hold, clean it up. Oh my God, I come back and now it's overwhelming. So you're always in a state of rush to clean it up or rush to catch up, right?
Understood.
Absolutely. So again, so what would be one space? So would you say that you would start with the clean car effect, or would you pick another space to get started with, Bobby?
Clean car has always been, even before you've mentioned this, was always been a big thing for me. It is the single biggest controller of my mood, environment, productivity, and I think it also depends on, the more you use the car for your work, as
Mhm.
opposed to just transportation to the grocery store or something. The more you rely on it, the more important it is that it is an environment that you're comfortable with. So that's why I started with it.
I love that. And so you've already maintained that.
Yeah, yes.
So what's one other environment that you could look at and start cleaning up?
Just the desk area. Not the rest. Actually, the rest of the office slash whatever I want to call it, bedroom, that is pretty well organized, but things do pile up on, on my desk, and it's kind of it's not the post-it note stuff necessarily. It's more like mail, and it might be piled in a to-do list form, like
Mhm.
this needs to be done first, this next, but it's not what I still consider an organized system.
Excellent. And you speak it, trust me, you are not alone in this. I have been in so many, I mean, oh my gosh, over 2 decades of doing this. That is really common. Like, how do you manage the center of your office or the center of your home? How do you manage that volume coming in and going out? And it usually accumulates on the desk. And what's insidious about it is it piles up a little bit at a time generally. And then before you know it, you're underwater and you're like, oh my God, now I need to put all this time aside in order to reclaim my life. And now you're back in the ebb and flow again. So, how can you do that? One thing you can do is you can set a 10-minute magic. And again, I highly recommend you use 10-minute magic. 10-minute magic, let me give you the details. So, you set the timer for 10 minutes. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a clean spot. And you're only going to do it for 10 minutes. As soon as the timer goes off, you're going to stop, because people have the hardest time getting started or stopping. And both of those ruin their calendars, because oftentimes once you get started, you're like, I'm on a roll, I'm going to cancel everything. And then you fall behind and you don't honor your commitments, which shows up and negatively affects your reputation. Or people can't get started. So they procrastinate, and then they're missing deadlines or they're up against, and then they have to cancel everything because now they only have 12 hours to get it done or a day to get it done. And now they're under stress and tension. So it's really important to just understand, how can we start developing the muscle of maintenance? So for 10-minute magic, you set a timer, 10 minutes, you remove distractions, you race against yourself to just how much can you get done in 10 minutes? And when you're done, when the timer goes off, just stop. And if you do that every single day, Monday through Friday, just 10 minutes, what you'll notice is you're going to start chipping away at it, that you're going to start feeling like you have control of it, which will make you more competent at handling it.
Understood.
It's so powerful. It's so simple, but it's so powerful. I love this process. I geek out on this all the time because it's like, so often I see people take themselves out, or they think they're bad, or if they have clutter or disorganization, and maybe this is you, right? You're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you don't know where to start. Like, we just had 2 months of insanity in my life, right? With mother-in-law going in through stage 4 cancer and then passing. So we have all the additional things piled on, then my mother at the same time, and then my life, and then managing the house, and then managing the business, and managing the show. And there's so much. And at some point you just have to say, what do I have to focus on to just stay above water? And then you can come back to what your normal routine is, but not when it's overwhelmed. So again, like, I get accumulation as well. And so now this is really important, that you don't you don't say, oh, I'm good or bad or right or wrong or a success or failure based on the current state. If you can take something like 10-minute magic and just start chipping away at it, start building your wins, start building your successes, start managing one environment and keeping it clean, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing that amplification happen, not just in that area, but in other areas. The more competent you get in one area, the more competent you get in other areas. Have you ever noticed that?
I have, absolutely.
I remember one time I was 30 and my girlfriend gave me a year membership to Gold's Gym Venice, California, right? With all the super buff people. And I'm like, I went in like a baggy sweatshirt, a baggy sweatpants, and I was doing Bill Phillips, like, the challenge that he had. And I had the book and I had photocopied all the exercises. So I had no idea what I was doing, but I would read the book, do the exercise, read the book again, and I was going through the whole process. And I remember when I finally committed, I truly committed, and I said, okay, I'm not going to do anything else in my day until I do my workout. And at first I resisted, and I would be working out at like 4:00 and I wouldn't get anything done. But I was like, no, this is what I'm going to do. When I finally committed, everything else, my business took off, everything else started working in my life because I had control in one area.
Absolutely. I can understand that.
And that's what we're doing today.
Mhm.
We're just saying all we're going to do is pick one environment. We're going to start controlling it, whether it's your car, whether it's your digital. So for you, it's going to be your desk,
Mhm.
right? So again, it's really just pick what is that one thing that you're going to start with this week and be willing to screw it up, right? You're not going to be great at it the first time. You're going to make mistakes, just like when we're learning to walk. We don't automatically start dancing out of the womb. We have to find our balance, and then we have to be able to hold ourselves up, and then we'll fall, and then we can take a step and then we fall. So it's a progression. So understand that it's okay. It's going to take a little bit of time. Give yourself a month to kind of find your rhythm, and then you'll notice how easy it gets. So like Bobby, in the beginning, when you were doing your car, was it easy or did you have to kind of figure out your system?
Yeah, I did have to and analyze what's important to me, what tools, what luxury items, gum and things like that. Where is it within reach? Things as simple as making sure the phone's connected to Bluetooth and things like that, so you can answer a call real fast. And just figuring out how much of this organization is focused on work and how much of this organization is focused on luxury items, joy rides, whatever, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And just enjoying the drive, as they say. And I think once I got past that, then it was like, okay, this system works.
Exactly.
I'll keep it that way. I know where things are. Let's try to maintain this.
So so as you're listening to Bobby, you can see it was a work in progress. It was like, okay, well, I'll do this. I'm going to do I always say my best, worst first draft. So if you think about that, you're going to take your best shot, but it's not going to be your best one right out of the gate. So expect it to be bad. Expect it to not work great. So when it doesn't work great, you're like, oh, well, what parts did work great? Okay, I'll keep those and I'll redo this part. And then that way it's just like focusing on hitting a target. First, you just want to get on the target, and then you want to get closer to the bullseye as you go. So we've been trained in school that if we can't make mistakes or it's wrong to make mistakes, and that's just totally bogus. I get so frustrated by that because we are a work in progress. Everything, the way our brain is designed, we improve over time. So it's just a matter of doing it and sticking with it. And you're going to fall down and you're going to get back up. And that's just part of the process, right? Life happens. So what I want you to focus on is, are you going to do your clean car effect? Are you going to pick another section of your life? Are you going to do your office, your home? Are you going to do a space in your house? Are you going to use digital medium? Write that down, kind of write down what are the things that really need to be transformed, and we'll be right back after this break.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
A few years ago, my skin was a mess. It was dry, lifeless, and aging fast. My busy travel schedule teaching yoga across the world was really catching up on me. I tried everything I could find, and it just got worse. So I created my own product based on 100% natural ingredients, and what a difference. Now my skin is glowing and radiant, and I look and feel 10 years younger. The serum I used is called F3. It's our best seller, and I've created a whole range of products to suit all skin types. So if you want actual results using 100% natural skincare, visit formulaflawless.com.
Want more out of your doctor's visit than a quick conversation with a doc with limited time? Dr. Jaggers-Keene is the one-stop doc who treats you like family. From broken bones to slips and falls, he has you covered along with annual exams. This physician provides VIP concierge treatment at no extra cost. Dr. Keene offers comfort in a setting that provides answers. His new Largo family practice is accepting new patients. Fluent in Spanish, he offers telemedicine too. Go to mychoicehealthcare.org or call 727-732-3969 for your appointment today.
Are you hoping to grow your business but not sure how? Has your business flattened out? It may be your messaging. This is Maureen Famiana with MEF Media. I've been in the TV broadcasting business for more than 30 years, and I enjoy helping businesses and entrepreneurs go to the next level. It's about strategy and branding, finding the right story to tell, and then getting media exposure. I'm here to help you grow your business. Find me on Facebook or my website at MEF Media, and let's launch your next chapter today.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome back to Clarity Corner with Christiana. If you have any questions, feel free to call in at 727-441-3000. Again, 727-441-3000. Or you can follow and comment and ask questions on my Facebook page at facebook.com/the Clarity, CLARITY, strategist, STRATEGIST, the Clarity Strategist. Excellent. All right. Well, welcome back. Bobby is joining me in the studio today. He is my producer, making sure I sound great. So love Bobby. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for being such an incredible producer. And you are just so valuable. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be the guest today.
Absolutely. Well, it's really important because you sit here and you listen to all these Clarity shows, and you have a really unique perspective because you listen to all the shows and you can see what's working, what's not working, and you can decide what you want to take on and what you don't. And I just love that viewpoint of being able to see the same thing from a different perspective.
And also, I have a job that relies so heavily on organizations, so it's helpful to listen to and have a few little light bulb moments along the way.
I love that. And again, I want to speak into each personality type because I always talk about everybody's different. We all process and retrieve information differently. So if you are somebody that's more blueprint and you plan, you're probably going to clean your car. If we're using the clean a car effect, you're going to probably clean your car the same day every week, and you're going to have a system for it, and you're going to block out a certain amount of time. And that's probably how you're going to do it. And you're probably going to know, here are the supplies I want in there, and I'm going to refill them. That's probably I would say more of a blueprints approach. If you're nurturing, you're kind of like, well, you just want your car to feel good, right? So you're like, I feel better when it's clean. So when you notice it getting dirty is probably when you're going to pull into the car wash and go, I should probably handle this right now. Right. But again, it's maybe not something that you're going to plan for. If you do plan for it and make it more of a consistent thing, you'll notice that you're going to get better results. But again, with that nurturing personality type, it's really into feeling, and and especially another thing that I tend to do is I'll make sure I'm meeting somebody, like I'll be meeting someone for dinner, and I want to make sure that make sure it looks really spotless, so when I pull up to the valet, it's like, yep, my car's handled, right? So
it's true. Yeah.
It's a great way to motivate you if you're not really motivated. So like if you're in action, you're like moving so fast, oftentimes you're not going to make time to do it. So what you can do is you can, a lot of times, if in LA, when I was doing this, there would be like a Starbucks right next door to the car wash place. So I'd drop off my car and go to Starbucks. And that way I could like make calls and still work. So I wasn't like waylaid by waiting for the car and not doing anything. So again, but you could use it as a multitasking moment, or you could meet up with a friend, or you could like make a phone call during that time. I had a client who was a very sought after coach. Well, he traveled all the time and taught all over the world. And he had a 45-minute drive to the airport from his house. So he called it limo coaching. So he would take coaching calls in his limo. He'd have his limo driver do it. And what happened is his coaching calls paid for the limo. So that way he got to stay in style, and he used that time because half the time he's sitting there and, he could be doing other things. But he said, why not use this as my coaching time? So I thought that was a genius idea.
I did that. I did not that, but like what you were talking about dropping it off at the car wash. I remember one time when I was waiting for new tires, everybody was asking me, they're like, "It's gonna take 5 hours. Are you sure you want to sit here and wait?" I'm like, look at this phone. I got hours of work I could get done, and I did. Wi-Fi, I mean, well, it was a good no, I made the most of it. So
And actually, that probably limited a lot of distractions you would have had in your home office,
yes, or
right? So you could say, okay, I'm just going to focus on this. A lot of times, too, if you don't have a great physical space at home, or maybe I love Nicholas Sparks, the author. There's so many movies that, have been, his books have been made into movies. And I was reading his memoir and he said, you probably think that I sit there like, and like, right. And he's like, my office is right off the kitchen. I think he has like 4 kids. I can't remember exactly, but he said it's constant screaming, ah, la, 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 la. And he's writing with like headphones on, and he's typing away next to all this chaos happening. So, but he like found a way, but he likes, he likes having all that sound around him because it adds to what he's writing. It brings the energy into his work. But again, if you have that kind of chaos at home, you can take yourself to a Starbucks, or you can take yourself to the library, or you can take yourself to a co-working space and focus on getting a project done in an environment that feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way too that you can manage your environment to support your success.
And sometimes I've noticed just changing it up is helpful.
Absolutely. Like pick one thing. I'm like the queen of like taking one project and putting myself in a different environment and just focusing on that project, because now I can't deflect.
Yes.
And
yes.
I also love the library too. The library is my favorite. We have a great Clearwater library here.
Oh, yeah.
But they at the library, I can't be talking to anybody because I'm a chatty Cathy or a chatty Christiana. And and what's beautiful about that is I have to just focus. And every time I look up, people are reading. So it's like, oh, focus. And it allows me to like turn off that nurturing type personality that I have that will chat up everyone around me. And it really allows me to like hone in and get a lot of work done. So understanding your personality type is really powerful with understanding what motivates you.
Yes.
Absolutely. So again, there's one other space. We're just going to wrap up, but I just want to touch on this as well. And I've mentioned it in previous episodes, which is your mental space. Now, your mental space, like having tabs on a computer, the more projects you have, the more things you have left undone, the more open things, like, think of open tabs in your computer, the less effective you are, the more stress you have, and the more distracted you are. So a way that you can handle your mental space, so this is the bonus for this call, is you can take your mental clarity and what you're going to do to manage your mental state. And you do this as a practice. You can do it daily or once a week. Write down everything that's open that needs to get done. It could be anything, whatever it is. And what you're going to do is you're just going to sit down for a 10-minute magic and write a list out of everything that you have that needs to get done. And then what you're going to do is you're going to assign it a time in your calendar or your schedule. So now what you're going to do is you're going to look at everything and you're going to give it a home. Or if you have something where, my favorite thing is a wish list, like, okay, it's an open thought, but it's nothing that needs to be done right away. So I'm going to put it on my wish list. So when I have time, I'll pull from that. But when you write everything down, you're closing the tabs in your computer, like in your mind, and you're getting your focus back. So it's almost like cleaning your inner landscape of your mind. And that's where we get pulled in so many different directions. We have media coming at us from so many different angles. We have so much going on in the world that's pulling our attention. So keeping our mind clean is so important. So think about it, sit down as a practice, write down, okay, what are all the open things I have? Because even when you die, you're still going to have a to-do list. That's not going anywhere. So write everything down and then say, okay, when does this need to get done by? And when you assign it in your calendar and you say, okay, that really needs to be done in April. This really needs to be done before the end of the month. This needs to be done this week. You start putting all those things down. You assign a date for it to get done. Now it gets checked off in your brain and it gets closed. So you have more mental space to focus on your business, see opportunities, make more connections, be more present with your friends and family and your business associates. And so really understanding that. And then again, there's ones that you won't be able to assign a time to. Put them on a wish list or decommit from them. Or my favorite, delegate them. Get somebody who can go do all your errands, because there's plenty of people out there. Find someone who can do your errands, or get a virtual assistant that can help you with those kinds of things. So that way you can make sure you're doing the most important things for your own business in your own life.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about your life there, Bobby, what's one thing that you could now? Do you have a lot of open projects that you're thinking about all the time? Have you practiced this from previous ones?
At times, I would say so, yes.
Okay.
Certain parts of the year.
Certain parts of the year. How about now? Do you have like a bunch of open projects or things left undone?
I wouldn't say it's at it. No, not at its peak yet.
Okay, so Bobby
Yeah.
is a blueprint. He plans, right?
Yeah.
So if you're an action style personality, that number is very high. If you're a knowledge, usually you have so much information around that you have like things you want to learn. So your list is probably pretty long. And if you're nurturing, you can be all over the place. We love personal growth. We love development. We love volunteering. So we usually have a lot of things like that open. And even planners, right? They've got a lot of stuff, but generally they're good at putting it, saying, okay, I don't have any space for that. And then that pretty much stays. I find the blueprints tend generally to have a wish list, and they'll pull from it when they're ready. But
yeah.
would you say
Mhm.
that you don't take it on in the moment? Like maybe me, I'm like, oh, I feel like I want to do it now. And then I'm like underwater.
Right. And I think that could be where I slip into procrastination, is it's sometimes you never want to pull a wish off the wish list, and then that's when things pile up. But that's still, the wheels are turning
Ooh,
still.
okay, so I challenge you to do a I call it a dump list. Like do a dump list
Yeah.
and see what comes up. Look around your house. What hasn't been done, right? Like when's the last time you got the oil changed on your car? Do you even know when it's coming about, right? When's the last time you had the tire pressure checked in your car, or your wheels rotated? Or if you really start looking, there's a lot of things that we don't get done that are needed, but they don't become a priority until something goes wrong. So really kind of have a look and say, ooh, wait a second. What about this? And again, we're talking, when you're looking at your business, who do you need to be following up with? Who are you waiting to hear from? What, again, what projects are you working on? What do you want to have? Or do you have a clear vision of where you're going? We talk about that at the beginning of every month, right? What are your 3 focuses for this month? And are you moving towards them? And then what systems do we have to set up to support that? And then setting the environment up to support you getting that result. So again, everything that we're doing each month builds on each other to keep you achieving these small goals. So that way you can achieve your bigger goals, of course, of where you want to go at the end of the year. So this is really important to understand. Handling the clean car effect is a great place to get started. And again, clearing your environment is the best way to keep your willpower supported. When it fades, your environment can hold you until you can like have your off season and then come back strong, and then you don't lose any momentum. Otherwise, you're always playing get results. I call it the gas brake syndrome, right? Go, 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 step on the brakes, starting over. So you never get takeoff in your life. You're always like stuck on the runway. I just used a ton of different metaphors all at once. I'm aware of that.
That was fine. I understood. I was going to say like running up to red lights, but that's
Exactly, right? There's so many different ways, but again, it's really important to understand that it's having a relationship with how you're managing your life and not expecting everything to be super smooth all the time. Understand that there's an ebb and flow, but if we plan certain things and as we start handling it clean, if you don't have a super clean place, start with your car or start with one room and manage that using 10-minute magic. And that way you're going to start building the muscle. And then that's going to, like you said, amplify how you're feeling. Amplify, wow, when you walk into your office and it feels really good because your desk is managed. Well, now you want to do more. Now you want to get more done. Now you have bigger goals that you want to do, or you just have that peace of mind and now you can do something more fun, right? So it really gives you more choice. It gives you more freedom. People think structure gives you more rules and rules give you less freedom. But actually, when you have that structure, now you have the ability to truly do whatever you want to do.
because things fall in place as opposed to you having to hold things up all the time, basically. This is like
Exactly.
the visual I have in my head.
Exactly. And my mother has dementia, or I think it's like now we've decided it's like the beginning of Alzheimer's. So it could be one of the other, I'm not sure which, but again, with her, my mother has always been blueprint last in her life. And so now if we don't have get up at this time every day, this is your morning process, this is your afternoon process, this is your evening process. If she doesn't have those processes, her mind will wander and she'll lose her effectiveness. So really having those guardrails is giving her the freedom to keep her mind longer. So it's really important. So again, guys, I just really want to pick an area. What's the area you're going to clean up in your life this week? Share it on the Facebook page so facebook.com/The Clarity Strategist. I want to give a big shout out. If you're looking for a local doctor, oh my God, Dr. Jaggers Keene is brilliant. This man goes above and beyond to provide VIP service and concierge doctor experience at no additional cost. He spends time with you. He answers your questions. He's accessible. My God, he's amazing. And he has helped incredibly with my mother and helped me as well. And I'm really, really wanting to say thank you so much for sponsoring the show. He's brilliant. So you can go to mychoicehealth.org, or you can reach him by calling 727-732-3969. Again, 727-732-3969. And he's going to be joining me one of these Wednesdays as my guest, where we're going to have an Ask the Doctor Day, which will be super, super fun. And again, make sure you have, what are you doing? Set 10-minute magic, set the timer, use that as a way to manage understanding what's going on, and then clean up your mind. Those are the 3 things that you're focusing on this month. Really get it done and enjoy the process. Expect it to be fun. Expect it to be lighthearted. And again, the more fun you have, the more wins you have, the more you're going to do more and get better results in your life. And that's why I'm here to help you get results. So be sure to check out Clarity Corner with Christiana every Wednesday at 5 p.m., where we continue to uncover what's clouding your vision and holding you back from communicating and thinking clearly. We're going to get rid of the clutter that's blocking your success, because it's not what you know, it's what you implement that makes all the difference. Go out, have a great week, and we'll see you next week.